This is the M6P, and today we're going to be talking about Fantastic Four, the movie, who we want to see, who we think we're going to see, and what we ultimately want to happen. I'm Jared, along with Darren, Kevin, and John, and we're going to be talking to you tonight about Marvel's first family. So, this episode is going to be a little bit about the Fantastic Four, as I already said 3 times. The Fantastic Four are coming to the MCU. They're going to be on the big screen. The four of us are super excited because we've been wanting them since Marvel made the deal in 2019. Come on, guys. Where is my first family? So there's been a lot of news lately about some predictions of who's going to play the parts of the main four characters along with Doctor Doom. Will Doctor Doom even be in the movie? Will it be someone else? So we're going to hit up all those things with our predictions. And John, we're going to let you go first, man. Who do you kind of see as maybe playing these guys? What do you want out of a Fantastic Four movie?
You know, what I want out of this Fantastic Four movie, first and foremost, is a good movie. I want it. There's a lot of talk. I don't think we're going to get an origin movie because I think we've seen the Fantastic Four origin movie done poorly twice. So they're not going to get another shot to do it correctly. I love Doctor Doom. He's my favorite Marvel villain. I don't want him to be the main antagonist of this because I don't want him to be one and done. I want a lead up to Doctor Doom being as bad as he possibly can be. I think what this Fantastic Four film should be is a monster movie in the style of a Godzilla versus Mothra with Mole Man as the main villain, but the monsters being the main show. Marvel, Kevin Feige in the past has talked about each Marvel movie is kind of its own genre with the superhero story built into it. That would be one genre that they haven't covered that they can do well, maybe even better than a lot of these movies have done, because it'll have more heart with the family of the Fantastic Four in it. Some great special effects. You know, their budget's limitless because they make billions of dollars when they make good movies. And I think it could be done well. You could have Doctor Doom in the background. He should be your main antagonist of the second film, the way that the Joker was in the Batman trilogy, in the way that arced. And if Heath Ledger would have lived, then he probably would have been a side role in the third movie as well, which I think the third movie would then be Galactus and Silver Surfer, with Doctor Doom helping the Fantastic Four to stop. That's how I would like to see this film go in a trilogy. And as far as, you want to talk actors and actresses right away, or
Well, let's.
you want to?
I like how you kicked it off. Let's go around with what we want to see out of a movie, and then we'll loop back around and go through like who we want to be those characters. That was good. That was
All
good.
right.
Darren, man, what do you think? What do you want out
Uh,
of the Fantastic Four?
wow. So first off, I agree with John. I just want to see a good movie. I really like, you were very specific about like kind of like the genre and niche that you were going. And I've always viewed, for me, I was like, this is Marvel's chance for a first really good sci-fi story. And like, I don't know why, but like I watch a lot of movies. The movie Sunshine by Danny Boyle. Like, I don't know, like the way the whole space, like I just think that if you're gonna like, and I kind of agree with you, they shouldn't start with a Fantastic Four intro, but like if they're gonna do it, they need to just like do it and make it like a space epic. Just, or a space, keep it in space. They don't need to come back to Earth. Start it small that way. To your point about starting it kind of building up. Yeah, can you imagine being hit with all the sun radiation and stuff like that, like they were in the comics that changed him? Imagine seeing just that in cinematic form, and if they did it right, you don't need a villain. And that's wherein lies the issue with I guess where all these Marvel properties are going, is like it's just like there's a lot of hatred out there. People get so mad. I think a lot of people are getting mad about these this Marvel content, whether it be the shows or movies, and for the wrong reasons. Like they should just be mad because they're not very good. Forget all the other. All right, I'm done.
You should put that on a shirt. That'd be great. Just get mad. They're just not very good.
Everybody's overthinking it.
All right, Kevin, our movie connoisseur.
So I think the most important thing with the Fantastic Four is you have to have the interconnection between the characters. You have to have that family dynamic. You have to have their compassion, concern, and empathy towards each other, resonate out to the screen, resonate out of the screen to us, the audience. Like that's the most important thing. And I think like I know they're given a lot of crap, but those first two Fantastic Four movies in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, that is actually something they kind of accomplished. Like they were going in that right direction. For all the flaws in those movies, and I know they aren't perfect, I do think they were able to capture that. So I mean, for me, that's the most important thing is I want that family aspect. The other thing for me for Fantastic Four is Fantastic Four isn't an adventure, or it's not an action comic. It's a science fiction adventure, and I think that's really where they strive. Kind of lost in space type field where you have the family interconnected together, and they're relying on each other to survive and overcome obstacles, whether that be a giant villain or whether it be some cosmic storm or something like that. So that's the sort of thing I really want to see. I agree with John. I don't really want Doctor Doom as the first one, as the first villain or the first, I guess, protagonist, because even if the protagonist doesn't have to necessarily be a villain. It's okay if it's just them coming together as a team, or trying to survive in outer space like Darren was talking about. I think that could be fine. I think the one thing that hurts Marvel a lot, in a lot of their movies, could really benefit them here, and that's the humor. You need the heart and the humor also. I think that's really, really important, for a Fantastic Four story. So yeah, because even Hickman, I mean, you read a lot of Hickman's stuff, and it's very dry. It's very analytical. But if you go back and read even his Fantastic Four stuff, there was a lot of heart. There was a lot of humor in it. So I mean, I think even he recognized that when he was writing it. So yeah, so there you go. That's what I want.
I gotta remember next time to go before Kevin, because Kevin said exactly what I wanted to say. It's the Fantastic Four are all about the family. So that part really needs to be hammered home. And when it is about the family, that humor part, like you said, comes naturally. You know, Human Torch is playing pranks on the Thing, and stealing his towel from he's trying to get out of the shower, or something silly like that. And you've got that Reed is overthinking everything. Sue is trying to bring him back down to earth, literally. About all the stuff that's happening, and the adventure part too. Fantastic Four is a science fiction like adventure book. They're going on these space adventures, and they're doing sciencey stuff and creating machines, and it's like a good, fun monster kind of movie, like John was saying too. I think, well, along to Darren's line, seeing them hit with the rays and kind of see them transform. I agree. I don't want that origin movie, but Marvel can do those flashbacks. Totally, just give us a flashback while they're doing something and show these amazing scenes. I think they've done Spider-Man very well. We didn't have to see Uncle Ben die for the thousandth time, but we understood that something had happened, that something was going on. We see some flashbacks in the camcorder photography that he has as he's swinging by, and he's got this, sewn together costume. I think they can do something like that with Fantastic Four. Villain wise is where I'm stuck, because Doctor Doom is like the Magneto to the X-Men, and Loki did so well in the Avengers, but Loki got to build up being in the Thor movie. So villain wise, I think really Mole Man probably would be the best.
Yeah.
But with the fear of that, though, is that then I get a Mole Man limited series in the comic books, and Mole Man becomes like this huge A-list villain because he was the booger guy in Fantastic Four 1. So villain wise, I mean, maybe somebody like Diablo would be really good with how he does like the different potions and stuff like that, or Dragon Man.
Annihilus. I think Annihilus could work with like what Darren was talking about if they are trapped in space, and that actually may be an avenue they take, because the X-Men at the end of the Marvels, it's about incursions, right? So maybe the Fantastic Four, that's also how you can make them Marvel's first family, because they're everything that's been influenced or appeared in Fantastic Four comics has already been in the MCU. And besides Reed Richards
Yeah.
and Multiverse of Madness, we haven't seen them. That's the only part that we've seen. Black Panther appeared in the Fantastic Four comics. The Skrulls appeared in the Fantastic Four comics. The Inhumans, there's a lot of things that started there because that was Kirby and Lee's baby, really, their first series. And so everything that came out of there spread and created the Marvel Universe. But Annihilus in the incursion, in the space, you see them getting their powers. Maybe maybe they're just scientists studying incursions and then they become, get these powers. And I don't know. I was just thinking of a villain for you and I cut you off. So I apologize, Darren, but go ahead.
No, Annihilus
I
would be
think
great.
Yeah, I think to everybody's point though, that's a hard thing about it. And this goes back to everything like Disney's cutting everything now. We don't know what they want. And now there's like apparently we don't know. Okay. At the present time, we don't know. We just heard about this about an hour ago that Pedro Pascal might be Reed Richards. Like, we just there's a lot to soak in. And by the way, if that is true, the Pascal move, that's a desperation move by Disney, for sure.
You know who else would be really good is the Puppet Master as a villain in the first movie. It'd be kind of like a what's going on, who did it, who done it, and that kind of thing. That could be Marvel could make it cool. They could make it cool.
I think
Or
the
they could
Puppet
do
Master
they could do a Fin Fang Foom and just have it like be the force of nature and have them, analytically go through how to defeat or subdue Fin Fang Foom. And that can kind of lead up and build into like Galactus. It's like, okay, you took down this force of nature. Okay, well, here's another one. What are you going to do with this even bigger and badder one?
Yeah.
The original rumors that came out from Mikey Sutton, who was a friend of the channel, who's sadly passed on, but most of his rumors that he reported were right on. He said that Beast would be the first X-Men character in the Marvel Universe years ago. He said that he said Spider-Man and Black Panther would be in Civil War like 2 years before, Marvel was still like, what are you talking about? We don't have Spider-Man, and he knew it. So whoever his sources are, he's got good sources. But his intel was that the first Fantastic Four movie would take place in the past. The whole movie would take place in the past. So that kind of gives credence to the whole incursion thing, is that maybe it is something that happens and then there's some sort of incursion. And that Galactus is supposed to be the first villain, along with a female Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I've seen reports of that female Silver Surfer too. So there may be some
why
truth
not
to
just
that.
Frankie Ray? Like,
Right, Nova,
yeah. Like
the first
okay.
Nova. I'm with you.
So for casting, I know that Darren kind of touched on it. So we're filming this probably a little bit before it comes out, so this could be old news by then. But today, Deadline is saying that Pedro Pascal is close to signing on the dotted line to be Reed Richards. So that's the closest we have to any sort of confirmation. But we've got tons of rumors of different people, like even Jake Gyllenhaal is rumored as being in the front running for Reed Richards, and every blonde actress that is, I was talking to Darren earlier, that's like 25 years younger than Pedro Pascal is also in the running. So that's kind of weird, but we'll go backwards this time. Kevin, what do you think about the kind of casting for Fantastic Four?
So for me, I think Pedro Pascal would be a fine Reed Richards. I think if they want to go that route, I think you'd want someone maybe like a Rebecca Ferguson as an Invisible Woman. She's not a true blonde. I think you could get away with her not being like a true blonde. I think that's fine. But you need someone who is a very strong female actor who can hold her own. She's not just a pretty face. Who I feel like that's kind of why they hired Jessica Alba back in the day, was just because she was pretty. So I think you need someone strong who would stand up to Reed and be kind of the anchor for the family, and you would buy it. And I think Rebecca Ferguson could be that. For Ben Grimm, the thing, uh, I know this is going to be weird, but I would like someone like Will Arnett. So I'm thinking of like it's more about the voice acting than the physical presence before they turn into the thing, because the thing is just going to be CGI, right? I mean, we all know that. So you need a really strong voice actor, you know? I mean, like maybe John DiMaggio or whatever his name is would sound too much like Bender, but you know, I mean, like get a voice actor in there, someone like that to play the thing. For Johnny Storm, you know who else would be a good voice actor for the thing is Michael Wincott. Yeah, he would be. Look him up. Just listen to Michael Wincott's voice and be like, okay, that guy sounds like his throat's made of rocks. He would be perfect. For Johnny Storm, I don't really have anybody. He obviously needs to be. I mean, I think Chris Evans was kind of actually perfect, or at least played the role perfectly. So you'd want to get someone like that, kind of younger and can do the bombastic. You know, I even think who's the guy, Killmonger and Creed. What's that actor's name? I think
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. I think he did a fantastic job. I mean, he's probably the best part of that Fan Four Stick movie. So I mean, yeah. I mean, I think the casting on that is just young, attractive male that can play bombastic. I mean, that's all you need. That's not a hard role for anybody to play.
Darren,
Okay.
what do you think?
So like I really don't know, like I guess from a contemporary standpoint where I would cast anybody in this movie, because again, we don't know what Disney's doing or anymore. So I'm gonna go around with like imagine you're reading The Wizard, you know, who would you cast stuff when we were kids? I'm gonna go with that. So George Clooney, Reed Richards, boom, done. Charlize Theron, Sue Storm, done. Dennis Franz was that? Wait, that guy? Yes, he's like an NYPD Blue, right?
Right.
Showed his butt
Yeah,
out.
the thing
Yes.
or AI, either or. I'm okay. The dead guy, Johnny Storm, Paul Walker, done.
Oh,
That's all I got. I'm not going to
wow.
explain it.
Fantastic Four, 1999. That would have been amazing.
I'm sure. Well, you know, they got Vin Diesel, and he only says 2 lines. Paul Walker
That's true.
was a much better actor. Sorry.
Right.
No,
Well,
he would have been the right kind of actor to play Johnny Storm, though. I think he could have.
Yeah. No, that's my point.
He
Like,
would have been fine, perfect for that.
Yep.
Yeah, he could have done that.
Wow, how are you going to beat that, John? How are you going to beat the cast
Well,
from
I'm going to dig
1999?
real deep. I'm going to dig real deep into
Yeah.
this modern century
You
and try to
better.
pick up some guys that, no, it is tough. And the other tough thing nobody's talking about why it's hard to, is because everybody's already in the MCU. So you got to find an actor that's not playing somebody else that's in the MCU that, you know, can carry a movie. I actually like when they go with the smaller named people, although none of my people that I'm thinking of are small names at all. And then they grow into that character and you recognize them as that character rather than, hey, that's The Rock playing Black Adam. No, that's just The Rock playing The Rock like he does in every movie. So he will not be my thing. No spoiler. But I could see Pedro Pascal as, I wouldn't love him. He wouldn't be my pick for Mr. Fantastic. I wouldn't be mad at it. I could see him as a better Doctor Doom. He's, to me, too tough to be Mr. Fantastic. Like Mr. Fantastic is a smart nerd that got superpowers, and the only toughness is he's like too aloof to be afraid of things. He's just like, oh yeah, well, I'm just gonna figure this out and I'm just gonna do that. He's not really like, I'm gonna be a man to man, face to face, you know, like that's not his personality and the way he goes about things. And I think that's what we've seen with, actually Pedro Pascal would have been a better Johnny Storm back in the day if you look at the way he was in Game of Thrones. That's kind of a similar to a Johnny Storm. For my Sue Storm, I thought Jessica Chastain could be a good strong female lead. It was really tough. I was trying to think of somebody that played a strong mother type figure. and I don't think it, because I feel that's what I think Sue Storm is. But that's hard to find these days in Hollywood. I guess I can't really think of a good one. Now my
It would have
Ben
been
Grimm,
it would have been Brie Larson if she hadn't been picked for Captain
right?
Marvel.
Yeah,
I think she would have been a better Sue Storm, but
she might have been better at that. Yeah, I think she's trying to be too tough as Captain Marvel, and that's why people don't like her because it doesn't ring true when she tries to pull that off. Um, so my Johnny Storm, I'm trying to think of a flashy guy, younger in a more modern movie. So I'm thinking Austin Butler, the guy that played Elvis.
Oh, good pick.
Dye his hair. I think he's actually more naturally blonde, and they dyed his hair black to play Elvis. And
He's
then now
in
this,
Dune 2, right, Kevin?
which he,
Dune 2, Austin. But is that the guy that played Elvis?
yes,
yeah, he is in Dune too. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
okay. So and then my Ben Grimm, I've given this a lot of thought, and I believe it is the correct choice, but I don't think it's going to happen. We talked about we want humor, we want heart. He may not have the voice. They may have to CGI some gravel, but he's definitely got the brow. He's got that Cro-Magnon thing brow. I once played frisbee with him. His name's John C. Riley. He could be the stepbrother to Austin Butler, and it would be hysterical and fun. And he would give you a great clobber in time, and he kind of looks like the Thing anyway. So
It's so crazy
And
it works.
and then I'd have Jackie Earl Haley be my mole man. It could go Peter Dinklage or Danny DeVito, but I think Haley's got the creepier factor. So that's my casting.
When you said brow line, I thought you were going to say Ron Perlman, but yeah.
Well, he would, yeah. But you want a guy that's a little bit more lovable and goofy. And could, yeah, I don't know. I'm a John C. Riley. He went to the same high school. He's a lot older than me, but I'm a
I
big
feel like
fan.
he's a guy. I feel like he's a lovable, goofy guy, but he could still hit you too.
Right.
Oh,
So
how do I follow that one? Will Ferrell as Reed Richards.
Well, I mean, you might be able to sell it.
Kevin
So,
Hart is Johnny Storm.
The Rock is Sue Storm. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think I'm stuck on John Krasinski. I know it's not going to happen. That's
I'm
my
okay with that too. Like, yeah.
that is Reed. That and I had no idea he was going to show up in Multiverse of Madness, and he's just there. And I remember in the audience, everybody just screaming, and we finally got. And then he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to probably play him again." Oh no! And then who would go best with him but his wife, Emily Blunt? She'd be a great Invisible Woman. I think Marvel needs to stop focusing on these big names and go for some of these smaller actors, like the girl that plays Ms. Marvel. She was very much an unknown. She's young. She's going to be able to play that role forever. And she does I know people don't like it, but she does a really good job in her role. She's so believable. She actually made me like Ms. Marvel. I can't stand that character so much. So that's what I think they need to do with Human Torch and thing is just get us some cocky, lover boy to play Human Torch that just loves the ladies and tells jokes and thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread. And they need to get Reed's best friend who, kind of harbors this ill will against Reed because of what happened to him, but he still loves him as his best friend. And he's pretty much the fourth member of the family, even though he's not blood or married. That's what I think they need to do. Just get us some unknowns. They're going to save on the budget, so then they can actually pay for good VFX. It'll be great.
I'm down with that.
That'd be my choice. And I want them to look like what I see in the comic books. That's very important to me. You can change their color and their sex and all that thing, but then that's not the people in the comic books that you based it off of. So, as racist as I might sound, I want them to look like they do in the comics I've been reading for 30 years. And that's that.
What would
I add-
happen if they turned Superman into a Chinaman? Do you think people would be as upset?
Oh no, that was already a comic series.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, was it new? It was part of New 52, I think. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. But
I don't have any problem. I'm just saying, like, why keep changing all this? Yeah, I get it, Jared.
I was having this discussion, and tell me if you guys agree. I'm also as disappointed. They've been, changing people's genders and races for as long as they've been making movies, at least some side character, whatever. What I'm more upset about is they're going back to like the early 2000s, like what Darren's cast was, and they're just putting people back in black leather costumes, and they're not in the costume for 90% of the show or the movie. It's like when you put them in the costumes, they look like the characters. You only made $1 billion a movie. Why are you stopping that? Why are you? And then they're adding new characters instead of just giving us little Easter eggs. Like guys like us eat up those Easter eggs. Oh my God, he said this name of the third guy's last girlfriend that died in issue 247. Like that's exciting to me. I'm sorry. Why did you just make up this new character? I don't care about that new person. I never read an issue with them in it. Give me something from way back, dig it up, put that name in there, Remember X-Men 2, they were digging through the files and there's all these names. Oh, I saw Remy LeBeau's name on there.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of stuff. They're getting away from that stuff instead of leaning into what worked, which is the issue. But one, I don't think I gave you my I think I said Pedro Pascal would be good, but I think my Mr. Fantastic would have been he was rumored at one time, Matt Smith, Doctor Who and Game of Dragons or Game of Thrones. What's the new
House
one?
of
The
Dragons.
Dragons one?
House
House
Dragons.
of Dragons. But he looks like Mike Wieringo drew Mr. Fantastic. Like his head is square enough to to be a good Mr. Fantastic. He could play a smart guy. He could play I don't know. Mr. Fantastic is tough. And the other possible smart guy that has been a scientist in recent movies with a square face would be oh my goodness. And now I'm Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer.
Oh
He
yeah.
might be a good one too. And even in Oppenheimer, it looks like he's going gray on the sides a little bit. So he might have that Reed Richard things down.
So like Cillian Murphy is actually one of my favorites. I always liked him. I think you can see like even like in the early days he was playing like a Scarecrow in the Dark Knight. Still like he was an actor building himself up. And like man, I think maybe you guys feel the same way. It's hard to pick an actor right now that you would want to play Doctor Doom. But if I had to do it right on the spot, it would probably be him. Like
Yeah,
right
he
here,
could.
right now, this time, yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit too brooding of an actor, I think, to be Mr. Fantastic for me, but I do think he could be an okay. I don't know, because to me, Doctor Doom is also about the voice.
Yeah.
I really like
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy as an actor, but I don't know that he has that
He can-
voice. Put Michael Wincott as Doctor Doom and Michael Wincott as the Thing. That's what I want. So
We'll just have Frank Caliendo do all the voices of all the actors. It'll be
Yeah, I think for me about Cillian Murphy though is just his like he's like unempathetic, like he's just on every character he plays, he's just on that mission. But to
Right.
Kevin, yeah, he doesn't have like what I guess we've never heard Doom's voice. We only have it imagined in our heads. But yeah,
well,
see his point.
it wasn't Julian McMahon. That was he looked fine to begin with, but that voice, oh, he did not. He's a fine actor. I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
him, but yeah, that was not the voice for Doom.
right.
The last kind of big rumor going around that has kind of gained some ground with the Fantastic Four movie is that Galactus will be the villain. But the voice for Galactus is supposedly Antonio Banderas. So how do we feel about Antonio Banderas being the voice of the planet-eating, purple helmeted Galactus?
I don't know if Galactus has an accent or not. That's all I got.
I would say English is probably not his first language. Let's face facts. I mean, Galan from Gala or whatever his real name was in the universe before, right? He's the only one that survived the Big Bang.
Yeah.
So he, but yeah, that would be interesting. I think it would throw people off, right? I don't know. It would kind of take you out of the moment of a big reveal and then
Yeah. My point is,
Why
I
is
wouldn't be
Galactus-
upset. I wouldn't be upset if it was Antonio. Like, I'm just saying, like, with Galactus, I mean, nobody knows what Galactus's voice is. He might be speaking gibberish, as far as we know, and we're reading it right in the bubbles. I don't know.
I'll say this.
Antonio-
I think people can be mad at if they want. I wouldn't be a proponent of this any other time for any other movie for any other character, but I think maybe AI is the best to play Galactus. Get something very neutral, no accent, just modify it, put all sorts of effects over it. And I mean, it needs to be, because I think it needs to be accentless no matter where the movie is shown. Like, I think that part should probably be dubbed. If it's shown in China, it needs to be dubbed to be like an accentless Chinese, like I think that's really the only way to sell the character is that he doesn't feel earthly at all. Like, there's something off about him. So that's just me.
Yeah. He'd almost sound different in everybody's head, like he's just almost speaking telepathically in like maybe even a million voices at once.
Yeah,
kind of
we've seen that
super
in movies
powerful.
before. I'm trying to remember what movie that was in, but I mean that they've done that before. Wasn't that in The Flash? Wasn't that how just Zod spoke to Earth?
Well, in
Could be.
Captain Marvel, it was similar to like the Kree intelligence was however you saw them to be. It would be
Right.
similar to how you hear them to be, I guess.
Yeah, no, Galactus is tough. I guess I would be surprised if that was their first villain, but if that's what the rumors are, we'll find out.
I think too, just to kind of end, there's four of us. We're talking about the Fantastic Four. And if I had to cast us as in the Fantastic Four,
Oh man,
because Darren is rocking this beard that I really do like. I'm just jealous. Darren would definitely
I
be
mean,
Reed.
I'm trimming it. Like,
It
yeah.
looks great. He would be Reed. Like that is Secret
Yeah.
Wars Reed right there. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't pay attention to all the important stuff going on either half the time. I'm just focused.
I'm probably the cockiest, so I think I'd be Johnny.
Yeah.
Kevin, he's rough around the edges, but he's just got his heart of gold, so he's got to be Ted Grin. And John, because John has a bunch of kids. He kind of takes care of everybody. He brings Darren off the ledge, so he'd be Sue.
There's your invisible woman right there.
Oh.
That's
Until
the
next
meanest thing
time,
anybody's ever said
enjoy
to me.
the M6P.